And welcome back. Hopefully you did get your coffee or water, had your small bio break before we're going into this very nice session. I'm very pleased to have this roundtable today with two great companies. I have to adjust something. I'm sorry, that didn't work. So yeah, in this roundtable, you're still muted. If you have any specific questions for one of the attendees, if you have a specific question for the guys and girls who are on stage in the next half hour to 40 minutes, please share them. We will check them in the background and we'll ask your question whenever it's needed. But now it's up to the roundtable. I'm very happy to introduce two companies to share their knowledge with you. Maybe, Natasha, you can start. Who are you and in what company do you work?
I don't know if Natasha knows that she's on mute.
I'm not sure.
Sorry about that.
You're working now.
I was talking away.
Yeah, that's when it goes live. Yeah, we now show that this is really live. So, Natasha,
I'll start again. Hi,
okay.
everyone. My name is Natasha Renwick. I am Group Information Manager with Mercury Engineering. I've been with Mercury for over 25 years, and I have spent 20 of those years on sites. So I've seen firsthand the challenges that they face on projects. Over the past 5 years, I've transitioned into a group role where I focus on improving project delivery across the business through standardization processes and adoption of digital solutions. Alongside this, I bring an MBA-informed approach to aligning initiatives with business strategies. And I've led with Graham the rollout of Autodesk ACC, which is now called Forma, across Europe and Irish projects. Delighted to be joining the webinar today, and I look forward to sharing our experience and discussing the journey of our digital adoption, including both opportunities and challenges.
Thank you. And still, yeah, ACC, we all think we can relate it to that. Just saying Autodesk Doc still, but yeah, we have to get used to Autodesk Forma now. And Graham, also working with Mercury, but who are you?
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Graham Rooney, and I have been working for Mercury for the past 24 years. So I suppose like a year less than Natasha. Maybe she's definitely winning the race. So I joined the company, I suppose, 24 years ago, and I originally joined Mercury as an apprentice electrician. And having worked across that space for a number of years, I moved into a quality assurance role. I was looking after a number of projects across Mercury from a kind of group level. And also within the last 5 years, I moved into a role within the kind of group environment in the head office. And my title is Mercury Group Digital Transformation Lead. So we look after our Autodesk account amongst others. And I suppose one of our goals this year was to migrate away from BIM 360 NextGen and Field Classic and mandate the rollout and use of Autodesk Forma across all operational departments and projects. So just to set the context, Mercury has around 3,500 direct employees. We're the biggest GC in Europe, and we have roughly about 5,000 people operating within our environment on any given month, broadly covered by Mercury, our subcontractor supply chain, and our client teams. So Autodesk Forma is used by the whole construction life cycle of our projects, covering tender, design, engineering, document control, BIM, quality, health and safety, commissioning, and handover. So like Natasha, I'm also looking forward to sharing some of our experiences during the roundtable across our implementation, adoption, and share lessons learned and how we scaled up across the organization.
Awesome. And we can go way back with you if we're talking about BIM 360 even and the BIM 360 Classic. That's way back. But
it's a long journey.
Yeah, it's a long journey, but it's a great journey. So last but not least, Frank, who are you?
Well, I'm Frank Pepping from Schouten Techniek, and I'm the information manager within the company. Joined around 5 years ago as a BIM coordinator and transformed in the business to information manager. And we are doing the job with about 300 colleagues. A bit smaller, although than Mercury, but still have a track on Autodesk and the BIM adoption since 2012, when the company entered the BIM world with the use of Revit in the MEP installations, and how we transformed as a company along these years. And now made a transition to Autodesk Forma for 2 years now, from local file sharing to a cloud environment. So happy to share.
Yeah, great to have you, and have two different kind of companies here on the table. And yeah, Frank, if you can go back to Autodesk Vault, and a whole different another approach of level, and a whole different another platform in that sense. But I know your knowledge, and great to have you here. I think we've just had different presentations. BPM, H and MV Engineering, both are saying they have a great amount of benefits in our spend. Depending on the kind of company, this can be very specific and different in the role, I guess. May I ask you, Natasha, as you are working in the same high demand kind of projects, what and how do you benefit from using Autodesk Forma, and does this differ per project or department?
Yeah, I'm glad to answer that. Yeah, from our perspective, I think the biggest benefit using Autodesk Forma is moving to a single standardized platform. So we have a single source of truth for the project lifecycle. Before this, like many other organizations, we were dealing with fragmented systems and duplications and lack of consistency. And I think before we moved to Autodesk, we were using 16 different platforms. And the reality of today is, statistically, research just shows that people are losing between 20 and 30% of their working day searching for information. So by standardizing the one platform and aligning it to ISO 19650, which we are accredited in, we're not just improving the efficiency, we were removing that wasted time through the structured data and defined processes and consistent workflows. You also asked there, Colin, about the different teams and departments. Yeah, it definitely is. It differs across the roles. It absolutely does. Like the engineering teams, they would benefit from coordination, design integration. Then you'd have your site teams, your quality, doing the issues and the snags and progressing, tracking progress. And then, of course, from an information management perspective, the biggest gain is governance and compliance within the system. So the return of investment varies by role, but the common benefit is the same. It's a standard way of working and better access to reliable information.
Awesome. You said 16 different platforms.
Yep.
Is it still one now, or?
Well, sometimes we have to use the client system as well, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Frank, as Autodesk also mentioned this morning, a lot of external forces are being defined in the current landscape in the AECO, we call it AECO, Architect, Engineer, Construction, and Operation market, with a continuous pressure on employees because of the labor shortage, material price increase, more quality assurance is needed in your business. The company you're working is, comparison with Mercury, much smaller, but also very active on the job site. How different is digitalization and the benefits you have for Schouten Techniek?
Well, thank you. What we see as although a smaller firm, but still one of the larger MEP firms in the Netherlands, we see that the transition from, I will say, manual filling in forms and on paper or on Word documents made the transition far more easier in the way we work now. And that helps in handing over from the job site to the office, without losing information. It's always in the same structured way delivered, and that's what we can depend on. In what Natasha says, finding the right documents on the right moment gives the opportunity, because every form now has a location, so every form can be organized and structured by that location and exported or handed over to the client as well. So that gives a lot of opportunities and possibilities to standardize and getting the job done in a far more quicker way than what we see was happening in the past.
Yep. So it's a good transition for you, from a local drive to a cloud environment. If you're not small, like you said, you're even one of the bigger MEP companies in the Netherlands, but it's very beneficial. That's great to hear. Yeah. We know that the usage of Autodesk Forma for Mercury, you're the main contractor. The demand is there for both you and probably the quality insurance to use it on the job site with your subcontractors. Hey, Graham, how does it work? How do you get your subcontractor working in your environment?
Yeah, it's a good question, Colin. And to be honest, this has taken us some time over the years, like with the introduction of BIM 360 and Field Classic. I suppose back in 2017, I think it was. Like, to be honest, like we struggled at the first kind of couple of years on the first few projects. But like a lot of our subcontractors and supply chain will be, repeat business all the time. So it's not only, I suppose, an advantage for Mercury operating within one environment, but I think our subcontractors quickly realized that it was an advantage for them also. So our first protocol after, I suppose, a bit of time was contractual. So once the subcontractors sign up to the contract, they're contractually bound to use our Autodesk Forma environment. So when all the new projects start, myself and Natasha are busy traveling across Europe week in, week out. We sit down with all the project teams from Mercury side, client side, subcontractor side. And because we have, I suppose, the environment standardized as much as we can, we sit down with our subcontractor teams then as well to onboard them teams, give them full training. But I think because of the standardization, they don't need to relearn the same thing on every single project once they move on to the next one. They're just taking the same information, applying it to the next project, which is a big win, So I suppose after that training, it's kind of up to them then to kind of keep using it, and up to the project teams to kind of keep enforcing it. So it goes without saying, over the last few years we've been busy, traveling across Europe, but I think our efforts have paid off, and I think we clearly see that. Interestingly, actually, we were talking to our Autodesk customer success manager yesterday, and when we switched from BIM 360 over to ACC, there's always that lagging indicator that most people are on BIM 360 still. But now it's totally flipped the switch, and we have the majority of people on our ACC environment, which is a massive win. We only kind of started rolling out Autodesk Forma in September last year. So to see that big increase in such a short space of time is a massive win for us.
Great. And like you said, it's a journey you're on with your subcontractors.
Yeah.
Maybe that same subcontractor come back in every project for you. So I hopefully for you as well that the demand for you being on the job site and training will become less and less. Do you already see that?
Yeah, and look at it, Will, as like Mercury split into different business units in the kind of data center world, and as the business units get more efficient within the use of it and stuff like that, yes, 100%. Like they will need less training over the course of the kind of next 6 months. So hopefully that kind of travel will dwindle down a little bit, and we can concentrate on other things across the business.
Should be great. Yeah, it should be great.
So it's positive.
Yeah. Frank, you are not a subcontractor of Mercury. Maybe you want to be in the future. I don't know. Not going to be here for any business consultant. But correct me if I'm wrong. As a kind of subcontractor, do you benefit from this platform solely as a standard of your own organization, or are you also demanding it for your subcontractor or pushing it to your client as well?
Oh, well, currently, internally, it's mandatory for every project that starts. Oh, my lights. I'm losing.
It's live. It's live, guys. Yes, it is.
Well, although it's mandatory for every project that started within the last 2 years, and to have every project information that's created in the office and on the job site, and that it's the information that's needed on the job site that needs to be hosted in the former platform. And we're now onboarding subcontractors and partners in the projects as well, and trying to connect to partners, structural contractors or architects, to make bridge connections to our platform, to have the efficiency that's needed when we are handing over information from one to another. But as you asked, subcontractors, yes, we are onboarding now, getting testing information forms connected to assets, so that can be connected to the main building information, and get the round trip of information in the end finished up, and so we can be able to hand over a full package of information. And that is a big win, because in some situations there was tested but not filled in testing information. So that's a pro, that we can have information ready and done in the end.
Yeah.
So
still needed also that transformation, but do you, like Graham and Natasha, also go to the job site, or do you need to train your subcontractors, or do you have another way of getting them onboarded?
Yeah, we try to have the project leads do the training with the subcontractors, and having them up speed as where needed, but not as big as Mercury does, and getting everything done. But
No.
yeah, would be lovely to have everybody have a project start with a kickoff, a meeting, and but mostly that's done by the main contractor and with their project. But as I said, if the main contractor is using Forma as well, we are happy to connect to that and have everything more up speed. But the information we create needs to be created in our platform first, and then we hand over to whatever platform needed.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. We heard a lot of ROIs already this morning. You're already talking about how beneficial it is for the both of you. We're talking about the digital transformation. You already said how you're doing it, but I think this transformation also starts with convincing your CFO and CEOs, managers, to start this journey. So most, as I'm self in the business, it could be a bottleneck. Natasha, can you explain a little bit how this journey and convincing the company or CEOs, CFOs, how that started?
Yeah, no problem. I think for us, the journey, it didn't start with Autodesk or a tool. It started with a business problem. And at the time, as I said before, we had multiple systems in use, and which led to fragmented information, duplicates, lack of control. So when it came to the leadership, the conversation wasn't about buying software. It was about solving the problem and improving how we deliver projects. The key to getting the buy-in from the directors was aligning it to our wider strategy. So the Mercury's wider strategy. It was about not positioning it as an IT initiative, but as part of our digital transformation, and go beyond strategy around innovation and operational excellence, which is one of our Beyond 50 strategies. And importantly, it was very much a top-down, bottom-up approach. Bit of a tongue twister there.
Yeah.
Leadership support was crucial, and it was very important. But equally, we did involve the business very early on in our transition. We got feedback from them. We done a lot of testing with them, training, and we brought the people with us on the journey, and it was easier to get buy-in. So I suppose the turning point wasn't introducing new technology. It was positioning Autodesk as a strategic standardized platform, which underpins how we deliver our projects.
Awesome to hear. Yeah, that it's solving a problem, and that's also your starting point. It's not, oh, I want new technology. No, I have a problem. How can I solve it? So
Yeah,
you convince the company, probably start first with a kind of pilot project before the real implementation, Natasha?
we did. We had a project in Helsinki, yeah, which tested the platform, no issues, and it was a no-brainer, roll it out.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but then it starts the transition. It's never one-to-one transition. As I know, it's never your folder structure going into this cloud environment and it's clear. No, it's about your business systems, your processes. Graham, can you tell the audience how you implemented this and probably even learn something on the way?
Yeah, and I suppose just to reiterate what Natasha was saying, I suppose like we're lucky enough in Mercury where we'd have the backing from our senior leadership, the CEO, COO, and everyone kind of in between, director level, and whatever. Like, but there's a genuine excitement, I think, Natasha, within Mercury to switch away from, I suppose, BIM 360 Next Gen and Field Classic, which weren't kind of talking to each other. They're kind of siloed information to one single platform that would kind of do more for the business. Like, so I think the convincing part, myself and Natasha would have spent a good probably 6 or 7 months testing the environment, putting together the structures, the workflows, and obviously, like as Natasha said, like Helsinki would have been the first kind of pilot project. So I think it was very positive, but I think that genuine excitement within Mercury was a real key driver for us as well. Like there's no one kind of wanting to kind of lag behind on systems that were kind of being outdated. Like so, it was an easy switch, but we just had to kind of prove to the business the benefits of moving first of all. And I think like it kind of snowballed from there. Like obviously the business units obviously talk to each other. That kind of has a snowball effect then as well. Look what I'm doing. I'm able to do this, whatever the kind of case may be. So I think yeah, like if like I don't want to say I don't want to kind of downplay it like it's a big thing to roll out, but it was a kind of easier than expected just because people's appetite for change. I think Mercury's a very kind of proactive company in that sense. They want to kind of drive forward. They want to be the best in the business and they want to kind of stay ahead of our competitors. So yeah, wasn't too bad. But I generally think like it is a game changer for us within the business. As I said, like everything's more connected, increased connectivity across mobile devices, even across iOS and Android. That would have been a big kind of bugbear of our subcontractors many years ago. They didn't want to be buying iPads. Now they don't have to. They can use their mobile device, whether it be Android or iOS. So, there's loads of bits and pieces like, but it's
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. Thinking about the new platform, you probably know the outcomes, but you also know very much of the barriers. It's costly, it's costing time. We have to do new processes. Frank, how important was it that you had to see support of your CEO and CFO in the process of getting everybody on board?
Well, if I look back, then it was a big step to have that mandate from the board of the company to say, okay, this is how we do it. This is coming to you after summer break, and see how it comes. And that went as a snowball, and everybody are making them enthusiastic. Although you get some feedback that could this be better, or could this be done different. That's good feedback, and we are learning day by day and giving feedback to Autodesk as well, as you know. And although they didn't see it that at some points that way, they're listening and seeing to make the transformation and to help us out, and that's good to see. And we are seeing the benefits of it with a talk, to have the conversation of how we want to work, and and how we can make that a situation for the engineering team, but also for all the field workers out there that are doing the hard work in the field. And well, they are seeing lots of benefits in how things are changing, how easy to find information, to see the check, do I have the latest drawing to create the stuff. Although I say drawings, we see less and less paper on the job site. They're using a lot of phones because they have a lot of stuff to getting up in the apartment buildings. So the iPad is already for some situations changed for the phone they're having with them, to have a quick view, to have the talk with the team downstairs, and that is less travel time from job site to trailer and back again, and yeah, that's good to see. They have really the registration of photos helps a lot of getting the things done and making the issues and situations on site clear out there. So yeah, it helped a lot to have that mandate from above, from telling, well, this needs to be, this is coming up, and this is how we're gonna do. This is what the transformation will be the coming years, and yeah, that's going well at the moment.
Good. I heard talking about sheets and about issues. What are the core functionalities you're using the most, or the people on the job sites are using the most?
Depends on the team that is working on, but we have a prefabrication location for housing units. They're using assets a lot because they don't know housing numbers on that moment. So they have an other approach of how to use the system. And but if you look to the construction workers, yeah, they're using the drawings. If we have technicians, welders that are creating technical rooms for heating installations, they're using the 3D model mainly to do the job, and not drawings. So it depends really on who do you look at on the job site.
Yep, yeah. So that new functionality, quick issue creation as well, that's probably helping you a lot. I hear a lot of people very convinced on that new kind of button you can use.
Well, that could help a lot. Yeah.
Okay, good. And Natasha, for Mercury, all these kind of standard functionalities, it could be a lot. First, you starting with build, but yeah, they're now in place. But what kind of integration and custom workflows did you create, and how did you use them?
Yeah, you're right, Colin. The out-of-the-box functionality is essential. They're the foundations for our digitalization. But for us, the real value comes after, when we started tailoring the platform for how we actually deliver projects. What we focused on is standardization was first, so that every project started with the same templates, structures, and workflows. And then we build flexibility on top of that. So our focus was really on embedded standardized workflows across the key functions. But for example, like for quality, we implemented consistent platforms for inspections, snags, ensuring that every project followed the same reviews and sign-off processes. Then for the likes of EHS, we standardized how we capture safety observations, audits, and issues. And reporting and escalation are consistent across all of our sites. And then for commissioning, we structured workflows and automations. around CX scripts and asset management. So I think the key point for these, well, it wasn't just the tools, they're controlled and repeatable processes embedded in the platform that gives us as a company full traceability, better compliance, real-time visibility across all of our projects, rather than each project working on its own way. And why do we need that? Because no two projects are the same, or the clients say. So while the platform is standardized, it still needs to be adapted to different requirements and complexities.
Yep, yeah, good to hear. So, but that's not all in the standard format way. Probably did you use the Connect platform or any integration for that?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of integrations in our platforms. We would have to have integrations with the client platforms like Procore and all those. We also, a lot of them are still kind of back in the Stone Ages and using like the SharePoint, and so we've set up automations for that as well, just to make the transition easier. And then of course Bridge, which is yeah, and Colin, just to say as well, the great thing about this and the buy-in and getting it easy was, like, we had our Autodesk rep yesterday and she was giving us the new updates, and there's like 60 updates, new things, features being rolled out. March there was 65. So it's also really important to say that they're continuously improving the system and getting the feedback and rolling it out. So it's easier to get buy-in then from people as well.
Yeah, and a lot of these updates, of course, are always beneficial to your current workflows. But
yeah,
do you need to change during the year your standardization or your project then? Because of new functionality comes up. How is that for you?
It's always just an improvement. It always makes things a lot easier. Like they've added stuff to functions, but we wouldn't, Graham, change much really within the standardization process. I think it just adds improvements, makes their life easier.
Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, do you think so? Graham, do you want to add? Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like any company, and including Mercury, I think it's important, when you do release any project environments, that you take the opportunity maybe every year or every couple of years to review what you currently have in place and, see if you can tailor it to make it better or whatever the case may be, small adjustments. The likes of introducing APIs, as Natasha said, often have big consequences for the project team in time saving and stuff like that. So I think it's important just to kind of map that out once a year.
Yeah, awesome. Frank, for you, a smaller company, but also it's out of the box, a lot of functionality. What did you do anything to connect it or to improve the even great functionality?
Well, we're mainly focusing on standard integrations currently, beginning with the connections between Revit and Forma, but now we had just created a custom integration with a partner that is for field workers. We have testing tools for electrical installations, and one of the issues that came back from the mechanics was that now we have a testing tool, we have a iPad or iPhone or something like that, and I also need to do my test job, so I need to have an extra pair of hands. So how can we do the job? So now that's when we looked to have integration with a tool, with a testing tool and the iPad, and came up with a new tool that was out that had a Bluetooth connection to an external tool for the iPad, and came along, had a conversation if there was any integration with Autodesk Forma possible, and they came up, we can look into it using the API, and what are your requirements for that. So we came up with the assets looked housing numbers, streets, and city to that. And all that information can be selected within the app. Information is filled in the form. You can use the testing tool to every wall outlet you want to test. Every line is created, and in the end, when the form is finished, the form is published in the data management folder that is standardized, and the PDF file is referenced to the asset back again. So the round trip of information is complete at the end. Although it's not standardized, it's a really nice function to have that on the job site, and gives the extra pair of hands, and no need to fill in later situation there.
Not only nice to hear, but I can only assume the amount of hours that are not being used by copying lines into different systems, and the failure that could be there.
Yeah, it's custom on the site, so it's additional lines when needed. So it's great to see, and then not have prepared all the different situations and different residential buildings, apartment variations you have. So it's can be vary by the apartment in that way.
Awesome. So Natasha and Graham, you had your Autodesk rep yesterday. I just heard. So you know about new features coming up, but new technology. We heard AI this morning a couple of times also by Autodesk. New features coming up. It never stops with exploring new possibilities. What will be your next integration or next feature you were going to use, Natasha?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think AI is just so prominent in everything that we're all doing, and it's definitely a big focus area for us all as well. We've already built a really strong foundation with a standardized platform and structured workflows. So now we have consistency and high quality data, and that's key because AI is only as good as the data it's built on. So next steps in AI, how it can help us make better data across very diverse and complex operating environments. We operate across multiple countries in Europe. So AI is a real potential for helping language barriers. It also supports consistency where we have different client requirements and regulatory environments, ensuring that the right processes and information are followed across all of our projects. And from a project perspective, we see huge value in AI helping teams quickly interpret data. So whether that's identifying trends or risks or issues across projects, rather than just relying on manual reviews. So I think for us, AI is all about breaking down those barriers and enabling a more connected, consistent way of working across our entire European footprint.
Cool. And it's great that even to know Mercury, you're not only the foundation of AI in the sense that you're building data centers, but you also use it for yourself in that matter. So awesome to hear. Graham, any additions to that? How do you see AI and your next step when it comes? Maybe you saw a new nice feature yesterday, what we don't even know yet.
Yeah,
it's a safe harbor statement.
I can't share that information, Colin.
Please don't share too much. But is there anything you saw maybe yesterday, or one of the things that are in the back of your head that you think, okay, this is great, this is my next step?
Yeah, like I don't think we're going to get away from AI, right? We either adopt it and we use it. Like this morning, to give you an example, I know it's only a small thing. Like I just went on to ChatGPT. My wife wanted a birthday invitation for her mother and father's 70th birthday coming up, and within 30 seconds, ChatGPT had it done. You know, and it looks fantastic. Where that would have taken me 2 hours to do within Word or whatever the case may be. So look at a small example, but it does save time, and like that, it's going to save time for our project teams on site. So I don't see it replacing people within our industry, but I definitely think it'll enhance how our project teams make decisions on site. I suppose Autodesk format is becoming more intelligent project environment. that'll identify risks earlier. It'll automate repetitive tasks. It'll improve reporting, ultimately giving project teams better visibility across the delivery of that project, you know. And like Natasha said, you know, good data going into the system will aid what we get back out of it. So if our information is structured correctly, I think it'll be generally useful rather than just another feature within it. I think myself, Natasha, when we're delivering the training on site, we do touch on the Autodesk Assistant within it. Like, so we'll type in a few examples, you know, across it, and whatever we type in, it'll show you that information where it is in the system, whether it be an issue or a submittal or a review, or it'll pull all that information together literally within 30 seconds, as opposed to someone searching within the platform for 30 minutes.
But also as well, just to add to that, Graham, that's a really good point. Like the likes of the AI assist in RFIs, you know, because we're multicultural, language barriers, all that, you can type in your native tongue, you know, the RFI, and then it will spit it out in English. So like things like that really, really help make things more efficient.
Yeah, and just, I suppose just on the update side of it, Colin, like, you know, every time we go training, you know, on a site team, we find a new little button or a new little feature within the system that we haven't even heard of yet until we catch up with our Autodesk rep. So like there is definite advantages and more updates coming than we've ever seen before. So yeah, it's positive.
Awesome. For Frank, for you, what's your next step? You just talked about the great integration you had, but thinking about your company and the next step into your digitalization journey,
well, it's more not only digitalization, but it's more transformation and integration that we are looking forward for the coming years. Not having only pillar platforms without any connection, but integration with those platforms will be key for us to have the information on the right place when needed, doing analysis on that. So it's key, and we're looking maybe to transformation from another ERP system to a new one, but looking to the future and making integrations and do it in a standard way without having really hard custom situations will help us out for the future. Having core in platforms for specific users, not that everybody has to adopt every platform that has any part of information. No, if your platform is mainly the ERP system, then you have need information that is done in the past to a project, like the surface technicians. Then you need to have all the forms be able on your table from within the ERP system, or when you're using mostly format, then you have to have project insights. Then maybe have a connection with the ERP system from within and have that information as an insight on that part. So that's what we're looking for the coming years, to have those integrations and making it far more easier, having the different platforms for project information with data management, to reduce it from 3 to at least 2 platforms to have. That's the main goal.
Cool. Good to hear. Yeah, we talking about Autodesk Forma, ACC, BIM 360 all day, solely as a platform to use for design, construction. This is great even, and don't want to be rude, at Schouten Techniek, yeah, it's smaller than Mercury, but even you are talking about integration into your core functionality, your core processes between different systems. And maybe, Natasha, you are further up in that journey already. How do you combine all that data? What's then next for you?
Oh, we combine our data. We do like data extractions. So we have a department that does data analytics for Mercury, and what they do is they would extract all the data and they would put it into a single Power BI report. So they would have, quality reports, they would have EHS reports. So it's very it's progress reports. It does everything, open snags, close issues, it does the whole thing for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Graham, you've been in this journey a long time, had 24 years in this company, but saying something to the audience, if you can give them a lot of just a little bit of your experience, what should they or shouldn't they do when they now start in a platform like Autodesk Form?
Yeah, and it's a good question, and one that we kind of had to learn on the fly as well within Mercury. Like, I think the number one thing to do is involving your group functions, your head office departments, let's say, whether that be design and engineering or the BIM team or quality or whatever, and bring the people on the journey, because if you're doing it in a siloed fashion, within a digital transformation department, let's say, not bringing other people into that kind of landscape, I think you'll suffer for it in the long run. I think bringing people in early to go on that journey with you, I think is definitely number one priority for me.
Awesome. Frank, any remarks on that? Would you,
No,
going back 2 years ago, would you change anything at this moment?
No, we made the right decision on that, but I fully subscribe to what Graham said. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, just a couple of minutes. I have to check with Chris, who's in the back. Are there any questions at this moment, Chris? No, he's saying no questions for you. We all answered everything. Natasha, any last comments for your side?
I don't know. I just think it's a great platform. It's constantly evolving. We have to evolve with it, or as Graham said, to stay on, ahead of our competitors. And I think that Autodesk Forma is allowing us to do this in a standardized way, an efficient way.
Awesome. So then, Graham, any last words for you? Not that you need them.
No. I think I probably said a lot, yeah. But look, we could sit here for hours, Colin. Yeah.
I know.
Back to the system.
Really
I suppose just a final thought. I suppose maybe one of the latest things that we're working on with group commissioning. And again, it's a success story. So we had the opportunity. Sorry, we had the need to introduce a commissioning environment within Mercury for all of our data center operations. So we had the opportunity either to look out into the market to the likes of CXLI or Facility Grid or whatever the case may be, and we I kind of got talking to the commissioning director within Mercury. And says, look, give me the opportunity to see if I can come up with something within our Autodesk environment. It's a mandated system. And I suppose through the next kind of few weeks and months, we were able to get something built that was even better and more cost effective, obviously, than without going outside of our platform. And again, it remains more connected because we have all our information within the system. So happy to say that we've built a full commissioning digital environment within our Autodesk platform then as well. So
with a lot of help from NTI also, Dave.
A lot of help, integrations and stuff like that as well. So
yeah. Again, I hear the name, and he will be also joining us this afternoon.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share a little bit of your information, not your information, but a little bit of
So there's loads of different success stories, Colin, within the environment. That's just one example of many,
Yeah. So okay, awesome. Well, this has been inspiring. I hope for you as well, and hope for you as speaker. And there were subcontractors maybe even listening to you and your vision. Hopefully that helped as well in your transformation journey. So thank you all for having this.
My pleasure.
Letting me having this opportunity to have a chat with you. So
thanks so much. Also, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
And with this, we go to the lunch break. So not a small bio break, not only coffee, but you can spend a little time getting your lunch. And after lunch, we will get back with more in-depth. Like I said, my colleagues, Kenneth and David, will get to you with information about integration. How does that whole workflow is going to look? And we're going to end this day with Chris, who's going to explore all new features from the last couple of months, at least the one we think are very beneficial for you. So for now, have a great break, and I'll see you back at 1:15. See you.